Thanks, JR. Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway, where 45 cars are at the ready for NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying. Sports Day qualifying days. It's Fast Friday, presented by K&N Filters on Fox Sports 1. Gorgeous day, a lot of sunshine, a lot of drivers out conversing and waiting on this beautiful 70-degree day. Track temperature 100 degrees, still a light breeze from out of the northeast. Some heavy rains here last night, but nothing to worry about today. A 90 and an 80-minute practice session, 2 sessions today, and that included final practice for tomorrow night's Duck Commander 500. So the only agenda item left is qualifying. Let's see who starts on the pole and which 43 drivers start the race on one of NASCAR's fastest tracks.
Yeah, we qualified at 200 miles an hour here last year. We're not going to see that kind of speed this year. I don't think. We were about a second and better off of that qualifying speed, around 191, almost 9 miles an hour. I know they're going to pick up. I know they're going to put new tires on. They're going to tape things up, and they're going to be in Q trim. But I just don't think we're going to get to that 200 mile an hour mark today, Larry.
Well, Larry, in the 2 practice sessions, some drivers made their mock qualifying runs at the end of session 1 in the morning. Others waited till the end of the afternoon session in full sun. Which of those strategies do you like?
Well, I like my driver to feel what he's going to qualify with the last time he's on the racetrack. So I like the drivers that were in qualifying trim at the end of final practice. But this is the first time this year, Mike, that we've had this schedule where you have to do everything in one day. You have to get ready to qualify and you have to get ready to race. But the thing I'm watching for in this qualifying session, if you look at our last 12 trips here, we've had 11 different pole winners. And I know Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick, they were pretty fast in practice. I'm not convinced. We may not have a surprise pole winner here. Somebody that has a lot of poles but hadn't had one in a long time, Casey Kane in that 5 car, because he has been fast.
He has, certainly. All right, let's join Jamie Little.
And Brad Keselowski just coming from qualifying on the Xfinity side. You had double duty going on here. So what are your expectations here for your Cup car?
Well, hopefully we can qualify in front. This is a track where qualifying is really important, Jamie, because of the pit stalls. The pit stalls here, even though this is a 1.5-mile track, are really, really small, and it's very easy to get blocked in. So once the race gets going, if you have a fast car, you're going to be able to drive from the back to the front. So that doesn't really scare me. But trying to get in and off of pit road in these small pit stalls and qualifying well gives you a better selection. So it can be very important. We've qualified second here two times in a row in 2013, and we didn't qualify very well here last year. So hopefully we can turn that around.
All right, Brad Keselowski going for his first pole here at Texas. Matt?
Carl Edwards has 3 wins and a pole here at the Texas Motor Speedway. So what's going to be the big challenge today of trying to score number 2?
I don't know, but it is cool to win the pole here. I don't know if they're still giving away the Henry rifle or not, but this place is tough. The shade's coming in over there in turns 1 and 2. The track changes a lot with temperature. We didn't make a qualifying run the second session, so our Stanley Toyota, we've got to go out there and really learn something the first session, and I believe the guy that wins the pole will be making adjustments each round.
Thank you. Mike?
Thank you.
There's a little interesting insight from one of the drivers who will be a threat for the pole this afternoon. Pole qualifying coming up. Just don't know any other racetrack where you can come and get shot out of a cannon. So here we go, 3 rounds of knockout qualifying. 25th on back get knocked out in the first round, and we'll know who goes home. In round number 2, half of the 24 drivers get knocked out, and in round 3, 12 drivers will run for the pole. Let's catch up with a driver who's been fast in both practice sessions. Here's Matt.
One of the fastest cars during practice on Friday belonged to the Chevrolet of Casey Kane. Now, when you look at this place, it's challenging on both ends of the racetrack, but do you feel like that the guy who nails down the pole is going to be on the bottom the whole time, or will you see them migrate around?
It's tough to say. I think the bottom in 1 and 2, and then I could see a lot of guys kind of changing it up in 3 and 4. Track's a little slicker in 3 and 4. I've been a little tighter in 1 and 2. A little freer in 3 and 4 in race trim and in qualifying today. So it'll be interesting kind of how it all ends up. But I've been happy with my Great Clip Chevrolet. Car's been really good.
Good luck. He won from the pole here 9 years ago.
Well, Joey Logano is the defending winner of this race, and you just had a conversation with Brad Keselowski. He's not feeling too confident about his chances here in qualifying. How are you feeling about yours?
If you look at the speed charts from practice, I shouldn't be very confident, but I got a lot of confidence in this Shell Pennzoil team, and they usually fix it up pretty good for qualifying. So we'll wait and see what happens. I was just telling Brad, I said, I always drive into turn one thinking I got a first-place car, and then as soon as it lands into the corner, I may change my mind, but I got the confidence at least going out there, and we'll see what happens.
And then Brad quickly said, I've done that before and wrecked in qualifying. You keep that on your mind.
Matt Kenseth sat on the pole here back in November. A lot of guys are predicting as the temperatures are coming down, especially the shade down on 1 and 2. How close will somebody be to flat footing it around here?
I have no idea. I don't have any idea. So I think the track for sure is going to pick up a lot of grip and a lot of speed, especially by the last round, even though you're on your worst tires. So I think the times are going to be quick. I can't really predict how quick, but I think they're going to be a lot faster than they were in practice.
Good luck, Matty.
Thank you.
And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and the Roush Fenway organization all brought their latest, greatest technology here, and you said it was a little bit better. So what are you expecting for this 3 rounds of qualifying?
I hope to make it all 3 rounds. We had some decent speed with our Zest Ford, in practice, and in the last practice when everybody was kind of doing their qualifying runs. We had our issues in practice we had to work on with a new car, working things out, but really we just got to make the right changes, right adjustments for each round. If we have enough speed to keep making it, we've not being able to make it in all those rounds. We don't have enough experience to make the right adjustments, and so hopefully we can do that and continue to get better at that to make sure that we put those best laps in every time we go out.
And of course, the goal once again is to make it 3 rounds, right, Mike?
Absolutely. The third time's the charm, because that's when the pole is determined. Drivers starting to climb aboard and tighten up those belts and get ready to go nearly 200 miles an hour off into turn 1. Welcome back to Fast Friday, brought to you by K&N. Sprint Cup Series qualifying. Cars are at the ready, 45 of them. Your K&N driver profile is Martin Truex Jr., who was fastest in the first round of practice today. One of just 3 drivers with top 10 finishes in all the first 6 races this season. His crew chief Cole Pern, not the first Canadian crew chief in NASCAR, as we discussed during practice, but certainly a very effective one with the early season results they've had.
You know what I like? I'm looking down at the inspectors on pit road, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, and 2 or 3 down through there. And up until this year, there was an inspector at every car, and they would hold their hand up when everybody was ready. And now it's, we don't have that many because of the new pro system that they're surveying or keep an eye on pit road with.
Yeah, I think it's 10 to a dozen, Darrell, that are there to keep law and order as engines fire. And Miss Coors Light will wave the flag to begin this 20-minute session.
Here we go.
And it's on.
Like a herd of wild horses.
Now, once you pull out from your stall, you must keep rolling. You cannot impede the progress of any other car.
Rolling, rolling, rolling.
Well, I do think, though, you'll see after about 4 or 5 drivers leave pit road, I think you will see a uniform line form at the end of pit road, because you can do that. That still leaves a lane or so open for other drivers to go on out on the racetrack.
Oh, man, go on out there and get you a lap. Come on. But, these guys, I know a couple of weeks ago they were talking about, they kind of have almost like a gentleman's agreement that everybody will wait, and that way you can get a nice clear lap.
And there is plenty of time, and the later you wait, the more shade there is down in turns 1 and 2.
And that, I almost thought that we would see more drivers kind of lag back. I mean, I'm actually seeing that with Matt Kenseth in the 20 car. He's still in his stall on pit road. Only
10 of the 45 cars are still in their stall, as you say. Everybody else is in line to go. Matt DiBenedetto first on the clock, 28.75, not particularly quick in practice. Martin Truex Jr., 28.04. Jimmy Johnson second, 28.09.
Good bit quicker than practice. Truex was a 28.25 in our first practice, and Mears in the 13 car just goes to the top at a 27.96. Bernard all of a sudden jumps up to first in 27.91.
And we talk about how the tires give up here. If you think you possibly can lock into this top 24, you want to run one lap and one run only during this round.
Yeah, I think that would be my goal, get locked in, but because I think the speed will come in the second round. I think you get a lap on your tires here, your second round will be your fastest lap.
Ryan Blaney, third fastest, 28.03. Let's go back and watch Jimmy Johnson off turn 4.
Down on the bottom, you can see the left tire right down that white line, and then it just gets a little bit squirrely with him right there. He wanted to break loose, but he stayed in the gas and caught the wheel and brought her home.
8 cars have run so far. Paul Menard the quickest. There's Justin Allgaier.
Well, remember the track record was 26.97, I think it is, 26.98. And I just didn't see that kind of speed in any of the practice sessions we've had today.
Kevin Harvick, top of the board.
27.75, and he shut her down the minute he crossed the start-finish line.
And remember, he wasn't all that great in practice. I mean, they were way back in the 30s, I think, most of the practice. So they worked on race setup, knowing that they could probably throw a good qualifying setup on that thing and put a lap up like that.
Allgaier 7th, Moffitt 9th, now Allmendinger 7th. Tony Stewart 2nd to his teammate Kevin Harvick.
And he's our track record holder at 200 miles an hour.
And Darrell, to your point, that track record came in round 2 when we were here back in the fall race. He did not actually sit on the pole for that race.
Kurt Busch now 2nd, so there's 3 Stewart-Haas cars at the very top of the chart.
I think one of the things that Stewart-Haas has really done this year particularly is they're sharing information. I think the teams are all working a lot closer together this year and getting a more uniform result across the board. Mainly because of maybe this guy right here.
That would be the one Kevin Harvick in that 4 car, right?
That guy.
That guy.
Joey Logano on the clock. So is Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Well, you could hear he didn't even really come out of the throttle hardly at all.
Ricky Stenhouse on track. Josh Wise clocks in 12th. And here's Joey Logano's Ford. Coming to the line. 7th. Earnhardt 10th. And Stenhouse 9th. Sam Hornish 13th. Now the fastest Ford is Blaney in 6th. Here comes Brad Keselowski. Ooh, 16th.
Yeah, you know, Brad or Joey, either one, felt very, you could tell they didn't have a lot of confidence in their qualifying package today.
I think you're going to see a very similar situation that we saw with Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car.
Ooh.
Probably a little worse.
Yeah, way worse. That thing was really hung out there. That kills the speed.
Dale Jr., turn 4.
He's fighting the wheel as well, and that's a lot of, I mean, it's like he's chopping wood. But remember, turns 1 and 2 are pretty shaded. 3 and 4, the sun is still beaming down on that end of the speedway, which will make that turn 4 a little treacherous.
Ryan Newman on the clock. Landon Castle. Denny Hamlin.
Never came out of the throttle. Just breathed it a little bit.
What we call pedaling it.
Yeah.
Just pedaled it a little bit. Should be a pretty good lap.
Could be a top 5 for Hamlin. Nope, 6.
6 quick. Pretty good lap.
28.01. And Newman will finish up 11th. Castle 16th. Jeff Gordon.
Car looked pretty good off turn 4. It was nice and solid.
Keeps
green light.
Green light.
Top of the board, 27.69. And here's Matt Kenseth.
Hamlin 28.01. He's 7th.
These times are getting more and more in line with what we've seen here, you know, last year, 26.98. So we're not that far.
I thought it felt good.
14th for
Tell you
Kenseth.
what really impressed me is your entrance to 1. You nailed it, and it set you up to come off of 2 real good.
Now, Jeff Gordon will be part of our commentary crew tonight for the Xfinity race.
Guys are pretty happy, Larry. That's a big pickup for that 24 car.
Well, of the 4 Hendrick Chevrolet drivers in practice, the one that seemed to be lacking speed was Jeff Gordon in the 24 car.
You never know what Jeff's working on. You know, he's a KG veteran. He's been, you know, he knows how to win these races, and he may have been just working on his race that I've never even thought about qualifying.
Now we'll change our ticker to the 24th position, and that is the bubble for moving on to round number 2. That's why all these drivers are a green light. That's to Mike Bliss, who's 24th.
Thank you for telling Larry now that.
Yeah, we make sure we pay attention to that these days. We thought we had 4 new track records going a few weeks ago.
We were going nuts.
Jamie Mack, 9th, and here is Casey Kane, who was fastest in practice, 7th.
Well, there's no question with 12.5 minutes to go, Brad Keselowski is not going to make the top 24. He's 23rd. And I'll tell you 2 drivers it's going to be borderline, 3 drivers, is Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Kyle Larson, 3rd, 27.83. Welcome back.
Yeah, and the thing is, you just want to be in the top 24, but, man, those guys are flirting with not even being there. Dale Jr., and a number of guys. Keselowski is 24th now.
Now, at the other end of the chart, at the at-risk of going home list, the bottom 5 are Brett Moffitt, Mike Bliss, Michael McDowell, and the bottom 2, Jeb Burton and Matt DiBenedetto. 2 drivers will go home from this round. 30 of the 45 drivers have been out once. David Gilliland, whose son Todd got a big late model race win at Southern National Motorsports Park. And Danica Patrick, the Taxac Chevy.
And you can see she's tracking green to move into the top 24 and knock Brad Keselowski outside.
Brad's on the bubble right now with a 28.26.
Pretty good lap by Danica.
14th.
Yeah, she is really nice through 3 and 4. Got in there, didn't get all the way out of the throttle, and didn't look like she was too bad loose off the corner. Pretty good lap.
David Reagan knocks Austin Dillon off the bubble, but he's 22nd. Allgaier goes to the bubble. He's out. Greg Biffle is 8th fastest. Good run for the Biff. Landon Castle moves to the bubble spot.
That is a great run for Greg Biffle. We haven't seen that kind of speed out of that car this year. So a new car, new program going on with that car. That's a good run for him.
Fastest Ford driver so far.
Don't think I mentioned David Gilliland clocked in now 31st.
Darrell, I just believe Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Dale Earnhardt Jr., their teams better be getting ready to make another run, because I don't think they're going to stay inside the top 24.
Riding along here with Clint Boyer.
Trevor Bayne and Alex Kennedy.
Yeah, Trevor Bayne in this 6 team, they had a lot of electrical issues in final practice. He barely got out and got a couple of laps in with this 6 car. But right now you can see he's tracking in the green like Clint Boyer to David Reagan, who's 24th right now.
Boyer 22nd. That puts Reagan on the bubble. Reagan's out. Trevor Bayne top 10.
Yeah. Two Roush Fenway cars over 16 and the 6.
Alex Kennedy 38 with 7 drivers who've not yet run. Welcome back to Sprint Cup Series qualifying. Fast Friday presented by K&N.
A lot of thinking going on under that helmet. Brad Keselowski sitting there wondering, you know, he's 32nd quick. Just about got to make another run here, get another try.
Nothing to lose by doing it.
Heck no.
Carl Edwards is in. He clocks in 18th. That moves Clint Boyer to the hot seat. Michael Annett missed it by 1 spot. He's 25th. Eric Almirola times in 28th. Brendan Gaughan 37th. Jeb Burton 39th.
But what I like about this is it's like Brad Keselowski, he knows he's got to beat a 28-17-8. He knows that's the time he's got to beat when he goes back out on the racetrack. The question is, does he have that kind of speed in the car?
Because he'll have to pick up about a 10th from what he ran his first time out.
And you know, you come in after you run, you always say, man, if I'd have done this, done that, make this little adjustment, that little adjustment, I could have picked up speed. I like that in this kind of qualifying format because you get that opportunity.
So J.J. Yaley and Cole Witt making their first runs. Jeb Burton has gone out for a 2nd run. Yaley 41st. 28.62. Cole Witt might just time into the top 24 here.
Boy, he's losing time coming to the line, though.
No. 28th.
Yeah, he was good till late exit of turn 4.
Turn 4 catches several of them. They get pushy loose right there. The front pushes and the back jumps out when it catches.
Now, Jeb Burton finished up his lap a 1/10 of a second slower than his first run.
And he's the only driver that's made more than one lap as we're down to about 6.5 minutes to go.
So only one driver has not yet made a run, and it's a driver who had a top 13 practice time, Alex Bowman.
And I believe Alex Bowman and that crew, they know they have one shot to get in the top 24, and I think they want to take advantage as much as possible of letting this track cool down. And that's there you see him out there now in his 7 car.
Axel Construction, that car is regional here to Texas and Oklahoma, or that company that's on Tommy Baldwin's car. And remember, Bowman has 2 Xfinity Series poles at this racetrack. Had a good lap in practice. See if he can do it here.
Pretty good 1 and 2 right there. Got through there pretty nice. The challenge is 3 and 4. Get in here. Pretty good there. Can he keep it down? Can he get off turn 4 without the thing getting loose? Looked pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Saw the same thing as what we saw with Cole Witt. Late exit.
Just getting up off forward to the start-finish line. That's where the time is.
32nd for Bowman with a 28-23. Brett Moffitt going out for another run. Here comes Sam Hornish and Austin Dillon to give it another go.
I think our buddy Brad Keselowski, he's going to sit there till the very last minute with about a minute or so to go. He'll roll back out and try to get another lap.
And 2 good reasons for that. More shade in turns 1 and 2.
Yep.
Cool that engine down, cool the tires down, get everything optimal.
You see what he's doing? He's pulling those gloves way up over his elbows because he's going to need everything he's got to get that car in the top 24.
I would imagine the waiting is the hardest part.
Oh yeah, the anticipation, and can I do it? Does the car, has the car got the speed in it or not? And can I do anything as a driver to pick up?
Now at the other end of the scale, 2 drivers that need to rerun and get in the top 36 to make the race are Brendan Gaughan and Jeb Burton. Right now they are in the 2 going home positions, as Brett Moffitt from a 28-28 to a 28-39. He does not improve.
Remember, Moffitt had a great run in that 55 car at Atlanta, finished 8th. And it was a very similar racetrack.
Same thing with Sam Hornish. Right in the middle of turn 4, back to the start-finish line. He was in good shape up to that point.
Well, that's when your tires start screaming at you. That's all I got, brother. I can't hold no more.
Austin Dillon with a 28-24 needs about a 1/10 of a second.
Been surprised. I know around the bottom's the quickest, but I think I'd almost be willing to gamble a little bit and move up the track a little bit.
4 minutes to go.
And what we saw Austin Dillon do that time, knowing 1 lap, he ran the top coming to take the green or start the lap, just trying to get that 3-car wound up. Right now, tracking in the green.
Yeah, I'd almost be willing to take the center or a little bit high on this racetrack and miss that tightness coming off turn 4 where everybody snaps loose.
He's going to be in good shape here with this lap.
Yeah, he's coming if he gets there.
He's in 21st.
Good job.
So that will bounce Clint Boyer and puts A.J. Allmendinger on the hot seat. Here's Justin Allgaier. The Flipping Ships Chevy. Have to say that very carefully. That's a new TV show. And he is 20.
We'll see if it holds up.
Now we have Keselowski still to go in a 2-car, and on the bubble is Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 88 car.
Allmendinger's rolling because he just got knocked out, and so did Boyer. And he is also rolling down pit road. Here comes Landon Castle and Brendan Gaughan for another run with 3 minutes to go.
Number of cars going back out, or at least getting in position to go back out, the 20, the 48.
Yeah, that's what Kenseth and Johnson's doing. They're in right now, but they're pulling down there just to be ready as we're down to about 2.5 minutes. Right now, halfway down the back straightaway, Brad Keselowski in the 2 in the green.
Yeah, I think Brad should be able to get this car in the top 24.
It's going to keep flipping back and forth, but he stayed in the throttle. He's going to do it.
He's coming.
It is 17th. He's in.
Yeah, I felt good about him going back out. They made a couple of changes in the car. he saw where he could pick up a little speed and a nice run.
Jamie?
And David Reagan, 30th right now, one of those drivers who needs to go out again. You see him rolling down pit road. He said he anticipates it being tighter this time around, so they told him to make a track bar adjustment from inside the car, and we'll see if this one works.
All right, Clint Boyer on his second run. He is 27th right now with a 28.17. Brendan Gaughan just jumped the line to go out because he has to go faster to make the race.
And even though Matt Kenseth in that 20 car is 24th, he's going to go ahead and make a run because we're down to a minute and a half. I think he knows there's some potential drivers that can knock him out of the top 24.
Boy, Boyer just, the car just doesn't have the grip, and you see him fighting the wheel. I don't mean fighting it, but working the wheel, trying to find some grip on those front tires, and it's just not there.
And Boyer slowed down. Matt Kenseth on track right now to make it in. Now he's 24th, so he is in, trying to beat his own time. But the clock going the wrong way. Now it's starting to come back. Can it get all the way to green and improve his time?
We're under a minute to go in this first round.
Yep. 28.10. He is a little quicker, maybe thousandths quicker. Now here's Gaughan, who has to time in the top 36 or he goes home. Brendan Gaughan is 40th right now. Here's Dale Jr. How about this? Matt DiBenedetto's team only planned for one run. He can't go back out. He's out of gas.
Oh, no.
He drained a little too much fuel out of it.
We talked about that earlier today, if that had happened, and it hadn't, but it has now.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. halfway through turn 3 and 4, tracking in the green to Matt Kenseth, but now it's going the wrong direction.
Losing time off 4.
From a 28.11 to a 28.16. Slower on this lap.
28.16. 25th.
All right, Michael Annett makes it across the line. So does the 18.
Red and black.
So David Reagan gets to start his lap. The flags are waving. Annett finished up. He was not faster, so it's David Reagan the last chance. And to get in, he's going to have to bump his teammate, Matt Kenseth. J.J. Yaley also out there to complete this final lap.
And what I'm seeing right there, it's not going to happen for David Reagan on this run.
No, he was 19th quick in our practice and ran a 28.70.
He ran a 20 and a 25 on his second lap. So Matt Kenseth survives. Top 24 will advance. We'll give you the rest of the starting lineup and tell you who goes home when we come back. Speedway, where David Reagan explains, missed it by that much. Dale Earnhardt Jr. missed it by 1/100th of a second. So he will start 25th ahead of Allmendinger, Boyer, and Annett. Sam Hornish, there's Reagan in 30th. And the rest of the starting lineup. I expected more from Alex Bowman. Had a great lap in practice. He's had 2 Xfinity poles here. But he secured a spot in the race. Those were the top 36 set by time. Here are the provisional starters. And it means that Brendan Gaughan and Jeb Burton, who each made 2 runs, but not quick enough to make the top 36. They have the lowest car owner points and attempts. So they are the 2 that fail to qualify for Saturday night's race. Jamie?
And David Reagan gave it another shot, but it wasn't good enough. You qualified 30th. You've been here many times before. How do you think this car compares, and do you think you can get to the front in the race?
You know, Will, for setting on the pole, it doesn't compare well to some of the cars we've had here in past, but our Interstate Batteries Camry is really good. I was really happy with it in both practices. I think we've got a really strong race car, and so we're a little bit very disappointed, but scratching our heads a little bit on how that happened. We were really loose in our mock qualifying run in practice, and we'd kind of run out of tires doing all of our race trim stuff, so we didn't get to make another run, and, you know, looking back, that probably hurt us, and we made a lot of adjustments and probably went a little too much. The track's cooled off more than what we thought, and yeah, that's disappointing. We'll just have to pass some cars. And our Interstate Batteries Camry, though, it's fast enough. We got a good pit crew. We can make it exciting over 500 miles, but it does stink to qualify 30th.
Hey, you guys proved it last week, finishing 5th. Very nice run for David Reagan, Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. Now, Traction Talk, sponsored by TireRack.com. Matt?
Mike, taking a page from their passenger tire division, now Goodyear has a triple tread tire there for us folks can use in whether it's rain, snow, or even the dry conditions. They brought that concept to NASCAR racing. Now this is their triple zone tire. The inside 2 inches has much harder compound, so that way when the car goes in the corner and the tire goes into its set, you can see where the camber plays an issue, and this is how the tire is in the corner. That way they get better wear here, but the inside 7 or 8 inches or so, much softer compound, to try to put rubber in the racetrack. And Mike, you guys talked earlier about wanting to try to get your fast lap in maybe 1 or even 2 laps, because at 5 laps you're losing about half a second fall off on your set of Goodyear racing tires.
Thanks, Matt. Not allowed to change tires during the whole qualifying process here, up to 3 rounds. Round 2 coming up. Ready for round 2 of Knockout Sprint Cup qualifying. The top 24 are ready to roll in this 10-minute session, which starts now.
Let them go.
The lineup order on pit road determined by random draw earlier. And Martin Truex wants a piece of the racetrack right away.
Yeah, I think the only drivers that we won't see right out there would be drivers that had to make a run at the very end of that session, like Matt Kenseth in the 20, trying to let their tires cool down, get the engine cool down. Most drivers, of our 24 drivers in this second round, only 4 had to go back out. The other 20, they only have 1 lap on their tires.
Now, even though Kenseth was 24th, he was on the bubble. There were some cars making an additional run that might have knocked him off. What do you think of their strategy to go out and make a second run in round 1?
I don't know. I don't know why he decided to do that, except that he felt like he was going to get knocked out, I guess. I mean, there were still some good cars that were, you know, capable of doing it, but I don't know. I think I'd have wanted to save my tires, but don't need to save them if you don't make the top 24, so that was the other factor, too.
I think that's the biggest thing. He knew there were some possibilities that could knock him off, that were still going to make a run.
Well, they don't have to worry about what might have been because they're in round 2. Martin Truex, 28.09.
Oh, 13 car jumping around coming off turn 4.
And Casey Mears was 7th in the first round. He's a little slower, 28.21. And Paul Menard goes to the top with a 27.96.
Little car's been real consistent all day long. Been one of the faster cars.
But of those 3 drivers, they did not get back to what they ran in that first session, that first round.
I mean, I went in and I pushed way up the track and then it snapped, and so let's just regroup.
Yeah, she just decided to abort that run. She just all that happened down in 1 and 2, and she knew there was no need running anymore.
Well, I think that's a good move, though. Let's come in, let's work on it a little bit, make some adjustments, and don't put a unnecessary lap on my tires. So I think that's a pretty good move. Yeah, you see there, the car just took off straight up the track.
We'll just cool it off. It's not good through 1 and 2. Wasn't going to be good enough. No point running it.
You know what? Listen how calm she is. I mean, she just is calm and talking on the radio and telling them what happened, and we need to make some changes, make some adjustments.
Carl Edwards Toyota. You know, one thing that's unique about this top 24, all 3 of the Roush Fenway Fords made it into the second round, and that is the first time this season that's happened.
Yeah, I know when we were finished up the first qualifying session, that's the first time they've all 3 been on the left side of the scoring monitor after the first round of practice this year. So, finally, maybe they're seeing a little light at the end of the tunnel.
Harvick to first, Tony Stewart to third.
Tony Stewart in that 14 is actually showing some pretty decent speed here this weekend so far.
Yeah, he's been real consistent, been one of the fastest cars all practice.
And Casey Kane third.
And Tony is our track record holder here. He did it in this session last fall.
Yep, Trevor Bayne 9th of 9. As they roll Stewart back into his pit stall. Or excuse me, Harvick back into his stall. Joey Logano.
Darrell, a 28.11 did not make the top 24. I know we still have 6 minutes, a little over 6 minutes, a number of drivers. think you're going to have to run possibly in the 28 O's, maybe low to mid O's if you want to make this top 12.
Logano 4th with a 28.02.
There you go. There's one of your 28 O's.
Yep.
Denny Hamlin 28.14.
Right now there's a 02, 02, 07, 05, 08, 09 with a 12/8 right now with Carl Edwards.
Now Ryan Newman will be the 12th driver to put a number up on the board. And that'll mean that half of this group has completed laps. Good run for Newman. He is 3rd.
There's your 28.007.
Yeah. It's going. I believe it's going to take a low to mid O to make the top dozen.
Sure looks that way. Shaping up.
Still have 12 drivers to complete a lap.
Kurt Busch going to be close. 2nd, 27.88 to Harvick's 83. So Casey Mears on the hot seat. Trevor Bayne on the outside looking in.
See what kind of staying power the 24 car had. That's the thing. You wonder about the tires and, you know, with what kind of setup you got in the car to get a good second lap out of it.
He sounded really happy with that lap in round 1.
But right now, he's still tracking red to Kevin Harvick in that 4 car. It's not going to get there, it does not look like. He should maybe get in the top dozen. Lost a lot of time off turn 4, though. 7th quickest.
Yeah, 7th with an 05, which the way this field's shaping up is probably going to be close.
Yeah.
But okay. Jamie McMurray, 4th, 28.002. That bounces Denny Hamlin, and Carl Edwards is on the bubble.
Yeah, we have 8 drivers in the 28 O's right now.
Tell you what, they made some nice adjustments on this car right here, on the 42 car. That car's pretty fast.
And it's fast. Kyle Larson is close. And off 4.
Oh, yeah. Again,
it builds.
Daggone.
It's still going to be a good lap for the 42 car and Kyle Larson.
He is 3rd. His teammate McMurray is 5th. And that will bump Carl Edwards. Puts Truex on the hot seat with an 09. 28.09 for Truex. Jimmy Johnson, 10th with an 07. Greg Biffle.
All those O's, like you said, Larry, all the way down to Stewart.
Well,
or Blaney actually at 08.
Some of those O's are uh-ohs,
yeah,
because they're not going to make it.
It's going to take a low O. How much lower than an O can you go?
Yeah, Greg Biffle's lap's not going to get him in. He's 16th.
And Biffle 16th now with a 28.15. Here is Ricky Stenhouse. So on the hot seat is Ryan Blaney, and our ticker will shift to that 12th position. And we'll see who moves on and who earns positions 13 to 24.
Tell you what, that's pretty good run by that 21 car. When you think about it, they haven't run a lot this year, and to be up even in the top 10 or 12 here is pretty impressive.
Yeah, this is only Ryan Blaney's, actually his 2nd race with this rules package, because that does not include the Daytona 500.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Stenhouse's time right on top of Biffle's there, but 18th. And here is Justin Allgaier in the 51. He is 20th. So Blaney holds on to the bubble with an 28.08. Here's Austin Dillon.
Yeah, these drivers like Allgaier, Austin Dillon, we'll see Brad Keselowski out there. You see him here, and Matt Kenseth. Remember, that's the 4 drivers that made an additional run at the end of round 1.
Dillon looking like he is going to displace Ryan Blaney, and maybe also Brad Keselowski here.
I don't know, not a lot in the bank. Got to have a little bit. You got to have about a 10th in the bank, because everybody's losing about a 10th off turn 4.
Does not look like it will happen. It was close for Austin Dillon, 13th.
1/1000th of a second kept Austin Dillon from the top 12.
What's Keselowski's time? I mean, he's looking pretty good now, but he was losing. Now he's gaining back, so he looks pretty good.
5th for Brad, 27.97.
And you got to be impressed with these guys, because that first run they made in that first go round, they were what, 30th or something.
Great run.
Came back, made some great changes.
That'll put Tony Stewart on the hot seat against Matt Kenseth. Only 2 drivers have not taken time. Danica Patrick, who started a lap, aborted it, came back in, and Kenseth.
Yeah, it does not look like it's going to happen for Matt Kenseth. It continues to grow in the red. as we're down to getting close to a minute left in this round 2.
And Stewart is rolling in case he has to make another run. Kenseth 17th with a 28-13. So we'll see who's going to make a second run like Truex, and see if Danica Patrick can beat the boss and knock her car owner Tony Stewart out of the top dozen.
Don't see that happening.
No, Patrick is 21st with a 28-25.
Yeah, a lot of the drivers making a second run here, they'd love to get in the top dozen. The biggest thing, they're just trying to maybe improve their starting position.
Well, we heard Brad Keselowski say how important pit road selection was going to be because of these small, tight pit boxes. So you're every time you can move ahead of somebody, that's a better shot at getting a good pit.
Four cars on track trying to make another run here. Actually, more than that. Blaney's out there. Edwards, Hamlin, Mears, and Bain.
Right now, we do not have a Toyota driver in the top 12. Here's Carl Edwards in the 19 car trying to make another run as this session's about to come to a close.
Wow. And he just made it there under the plate. He was completing his lap. 28-35. Blaney 28-10. Denny Hamlin 28-39. And here comes Trevor Bayne.
Bayne's got a shot here. I don't know.
Needs to find about 3/10, Darrell. Nope, he slows down.
Not there.
About that amount. Tony Stewart and the drivers faster than 28:07 will advance. The remaining dozen earn positions 13 and 24. We'll tell you who they are after this. Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway on a beautiful day. Part of Fast Friday presented by K&N. We'll find out who wins the pole after round 3. So let's set positions 13 through 24. Ryan Blaney missing it by just a 1/10 of a second. Austin Dillon, Martin Truex, who was quickest in the first practice, and all the Gibbs Toyotas, but for David Reagan, who was eliminated after round 1. Matt?
Martin Truex Jr. will start 15th. Now, you were free on both ends of the racetrack. Did one end cost you more than the other, Martin?
Seemed like we were losing most of our time off of turn 2, or for whatever reason when I'd hit those bumps down there where the sun was still on the racetrack is where I lost the most time. So just couldn't quite ever hit that corner just right. You know, we missed the last round by 2 thousandths or something crazy. So if I could have just done a little better job, I missed my line a little bit. Didn't get the car right where I needed it, and then I slid the rest of the way off of 2. So missed it a little bit today, but felt like we had a pretty good race car in the longer runs today, and we'll get them tomorrow night.
Thank you, Martin.
He missed advancing by only 2/100ths of a second. So 10 Chevrolets and the 2 Penske Fords will advance to the final round and see who wins the pole. Kevin Harvick, one of 3 Stewart-Haas cars to advance, 3 from Hendrick, 2 from Richard Childress Racing. Both the Chip Ganassi Chevrolets and both the Penske Fords will advance to the final round.
Both the Chip Ganassi Chevrolet drivers there, Kyle Larson and Jamie McMurray.
Jamie?
Well, Trevor Bayne has been on both ends of the spectrum today. Very little practice time. You had electrical issues in final practice, and then you were able to make it to the second round. How would you sum up today and your car overall?
Well, I just say we're like Allen Iverson, it's just practice. But, no, that was a solid run for that. Be forward. We got to celebrate the little gains, and the fact we made it to the second round is big. I know that seems kind of silly, but, we're 10th in that first round there, and I thought that showed that we had speed. Greg was 8th, and Ricky, I think, was 15th or 16th. We fell off in the second run. Once our tires got some heat in them and got a cycle, we all lost more grip than the other guys. So we got to figure that out. But to be 23rd, I think we are. That's better than the 36th we were last week. And like I said, it's little gains. And if we can make those kind of strides, we'll be there by a couple races. And, we showed that we can have speed in the car that first session by being 10th. And I'm just proud of these guys. They figured out what was wrong in practice with the engine and gave me a decent race car for one practice run.
Trevor Bayne, patient and celebrating the baby steps, Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. How important is starting up front? We'll have a look at this. Of the last 8 races at Texas Motor Speedway, every one of them was won from a top 10 starting spot.
And I just wonder, pit road selection being so critical I think that's part of the factor, that's a part of the cause and effect right there, is getting to pick those good pit stalls.
Well, I go back to the spring race here a couple of years ago. Martin Truex Jr. dominated the race. Kyle Busch, sitting on the pole, pit selection, won the race.
Track is open for 5 minutes for this final round.
This is when you see who has the stay-in power. Who's got the setup that is going to be good in this round.
11 drivers have just 2 laps on their tires. The exception is Brad Keselowski, who made an extra run in the first round. He has 4 laps on his.
And I think with only this round being 5 minutes, you can see already a half minute's gone. These drivers know it is a 1-lap deal to get it done.
Yes, sir. You see Menard up the track a little bit here, kind of middle of the track, a little higher, coming to get the green, get some nice momentum. You want to come to the line with a head of steam. And getting that little high line, get that momentum off the corner, could be very helpful.
He and Ryan Newman, too, of the Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet, has made it into this final round.
And right now, these drivers seem to be just letting as much time go by as possible, seeing if this track will cool down, because Paul Menard is absolutely the only driver out on the racetrack right now.
Saw him fighting the car a little bit, Larry, like we've seen so many off turn 4.
Well, 28-10.
Not a bad lap.
Now, that would not have got him into this final round, but now that everybody has had at least one more run on their cars, you might expect times to fall off just a little bit. That's what's happened.
Just a teeny bit, I think.
Looks like his teammate Ryan Newman in the 31 has left pit road for his lap.
And here goes Harvick.
Listen, get up through the gears.
And of course, you have to follow the blend line leaving pit road just like the race. And I think that apron is almost off camber.
I tell you, it is. And see what Harvick does here. Look at him, he's high, real high in the 3 and 4, coming to get the green, gets that nice big arc, gets a lot of straightaway speed right here, coming down to take the green. Good move.
So here's Ryan Newman with the Caterpillar Chevy. See if he can displace Paul Menard from the top spot.
Yeah, I think Darrell said it. It's almost like you need a little bit in the bank coming off turn 4, because all the drivers have been losing time. But right now, it's going to be enough for Newman to go to the top.
28.08.
As you know, hey, that 4 car sounded like he was in the throttle and didn't lift.
Wow, 27.87 for Kevin Harvick.
Very consistent. You look at his lap from each session, very consistent.
Yeah, they're all 3 laps within about a 10th.
Yep. That's what they were working on in practice. Something that they knew they could be comfortable with and run all 3 sessions and have good speed.
193.7 for Harvick. Under 2 minutes for drivers to begin their qualifying lap. Jimmy Johnson's on it. Jeff Gordon on track. Kurt Busch.
Yeah, I think Kevin Harvick running that 27.87, he's saying if you can beat it, have at it.
That's a pretty good statement right there.
Yes, sir. In the 3rd round here with that many laps on your tires, very impressive.
Here's the low Chevrolet for Johnson. We discussed earlier, he wins here every other year. Maybe it's his turn to win, or on a 1.5 miles every other race. The last 5 races he's won. 28.06. Johnson is 2nd, and Gordon falls to 5th. 28.48.
Got to run. Got
Kurt
somebody.
Busch is staying in the green. I believe he's going to do it here.
Coming. Got him.
Beats his teammate by 2/100ths.
Wow.
Kurt Busch fastest.
Larry, wasn't this the race last year when Tony Gibson and him got together and they were able to race? They actually worked together here last year.
This is where it all started. This is where they made the swap coming into the Texas race.
All right, half the drivers have run a lap. Casey Kane, Tony Stewart on track. Neither of the Fords. Logano has left pit road, and neither has taken time. He or Keselowski.
Well, you
Casey Kane 3rd.
Think about the 4 and the 41. The 4 and the 41 at Phoenix. The 4 and the 41 at Fontana. The 4 and the 41 right now on the front row.
Tony Stewart 7th. Kyle Larson on track.
Well, all these drivers out there right now, they have started their lap, so they'll get to complete the lap. But all of them tracking in the red right now to Kurt Busch.
Joey Logano to the stripe, 5th.
Comes a 2-car off turn 4, see if he's got anything.
Jamie McMurray 9th, and Brad Keselowski 3rd. Fastest Ford.
Great job.
For having 5 laps on his tires to everyone else's 3, I would say.
How about this cat right here, Kurt Busch? Misses 3 races, comes back, and already has 2 poles in the 4 starts so far this year.
Yes, sir.
Good job, Johnny.
Well, let's have a look at our Can-Am ride of the day for today's pole winner, Kurt Busch.
Well, here he goes. He beats Kevin Harvick by just a few hundredths, an 8.57 to Harvick's 8.75. That's how close these 2 cars were.
Thing was nice and steady.
Yeah, you never saw a lot of movement out of his hands like we saw out of so many. He wasn't fighting with the car off the corner, made great speed, got out of there nice on the pole. Good job, boys.
It's the 18th Sprint Cup Series pole for Kurt Busch. Last one came at Auto Club Speedway in California, so it's his 2nd of the year. To Texas Motor Speedway, where Kurt Busch has won his 2nd pole of 2015, his 1st at Texas. And Larry is off to do race day.
I am, and you know what? We're going to feature a driver that runs full-time in the Xfinity Series, and normally here at Texas, because his parents, they have season tickets, he sits in the grandstands for the Sprint Cup Series race, but for a good reason, that can't happen this week.
We'll watch for that on race day. Here's Matt.
2 years ago, Kurt Busch started 2nd on the outside the front row. Now you're going to be on the pole. You're 1st here at Texas. Was this a great example of how you and Tony Gibson and the 41 guys kept up with the racetrack, with the shade coming in and making small changes?
Yeah, everything is so tight in qualifying, and I wanted to try to run the same time each time out, but with the track continuing to change with the sun into shade, and then the track rubber buildup, air pressures are changing, tires are dropping off, everybody chipped in. So the guys here at the track, guys back at the shop, tire guy, engine guy, everybody chipped in, and that's what this is all about, is just getting that little extra, and we did that with our Haas Automation Chevy. So thanks to Gene, and 2nd pole of the year, feels good. Now we just need to dial her in and get that long run speed out of the car.
Auto Cup Speedway now here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Jamie Little.
And Kevin Harvick, well, it's not the pole, but it is the best start he's had in all of your starts here at Texas. First time you're starting on the front row. You had a lot of us concerned in happy hour. You guys were so focused on race setup and not qualifying. How is the car?
The car's really good. Our Budweiser, Jimmy John's team did a really good job. We stuck to our plan. That's exactly what we had planned to do in practice, and everything worked out good. So we made one qualifying run, and then spent the second half of practice really concentrating on race runs and making sure that we could run the long haul. So feel really good about that. Just really proud of everyone at Stewart-Haas Racing and on the 41 team for getting a pole, and my team for just doing a solid job every week. And you look at that lineup in the top 12, and you definitely look at the Hendrick engines and chassis that are in that top 12 is pretty impressive. So I'm really excited for tomorrow.
All right, Kevin Harvick has done a lot here at Texas Motor Speedway, but he's never been to victory lane in the Cup Series, Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. That could change.
There are 8 Hendrick-powered cars, Hendrick cars in the top 12.
Wow. Well, Kurt Busch is on a qualifying roll. A couple of weeks ago, Auto Club Speedway, pole man. Texas Motor Speedway, same song, 2nd verse. And a hug for car owner Tony Stewart.
Good job, buddy.
Who qualified 11th. Big crowd assembling at Texas Motor Speedway. A lot of RVs in the infield. They're getting ready for tonight's Xfinity Series race. But here is the starting lineup for tomorrow night's Duck Commander 500. With Stewart-Haas Racing on the front row. Brad Keselowski, the fastest Ford. Casey Kane, quick in practice 4th. His teammate Jimmy Johnson there in 5th with Joey Logano. In fact, you find a lot of teammates grouped together in this
Ryan
start
Blaney,
order.
nice job of that 21 bunch.
Carl Edwards leads the Gibbs Toyota, but the fastest was 16th out of that group.
Good job again, though, by the Roush Fenway guys. They have made some improvements, and they were needing that badly. So good job by those guys.
Yep, all three in the top 24, led by Greg Biffle in 19th.
Little work to do for Dale Jr. and certainly Clint Boyer. I didn't like the way Clint's car looked again this week. Maybe they'll get her tuned up for the race tomorrow night.
So back through Brett Moffitt in 36. Those are the drivers that timed into the field, followed by the provisional starters.
Hometown boy there, Chris Boucher in the 34 car.
Yep. Alex Kennedy got the final spot in the field. Neither Jeff Burton nor Brendan Gaughan had enough points to earn a provisional spot. Three things you need to know from Sprint Cup qualifying. It's a game of thirds. First, it's the third time this season teammates own the front row. It's the third pole for Stuart Haas. They lead all race teams in pole wins in the young season, and it's the third pole at Texas for Stuart Haas Racing.
That's 3/3.
That's right.
That's a hole.
We've got time for one more interview. Jamie?
And Joey Logano ended up 6th, and I talked to him and his teammate at the start of the show, and you would have thought, man, you guys are going to be down in the dumps, and you both ended up making it to the final round. What did you do to turn things around there in the second and third round?
They both just rallied pretty hard trying to find more speed, and it's funny because the tires are falling off, but the track temp's going down, so the speeds kind of hang in there somewhat, and just trying to make the right adjustments throughout each run, and it seemed like the field was really close besides the first two cars, and the rest of us were within a tenth or so, or even less. So overall, Shell Pennzoil Ford's fast. It's got, like I said, it's probably better in race trim than it is in qualifying trim, and so I'm excited to start the race tomorrow.
So you won this race last year from 10th. You come back with high expectations. How is the race car? You had 2 practices today to feel it out.
It's not bad. We kind of worked on some different things than we typically do, so we'll see if that pays off. Just trying to be a little bit better than we were in the fall here last time. We were probably a 3rd place car in the fall, so just trying to get that next level to obviously keep up with them. But the rules have changed since last year. So many things have changed since last year that obviously the same stuff doesn't work. So you always got to be evolving and trying to find something new.
All right, well, your job today is done. Now you can go back and he'll watch his teammate Brad Keselowski as he looks for his first win in the Xfinity Series this year, Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. Joey Logano will start 6th. Now, earlier today during Xfinity Series qualifying, our new race analyst was down there on pit road doing his homework. He will join Adam and Michael in the booth for the call of the race shortly. That's the Xfinity Series race presented by Can-Am. Coverage begins next, right here on Fox Sports 1. Big day for Stuart Haas.
Oh, it really was. I expect those two guys, we saw them at California run up front most of the day, and then certainly we saw them at Phoenix, so they got this thing figured out pretty good right now.
Second pole of the year for Kurt Busch. He and teammate Kevin Harvick are in the front row, ahead of Brad Keselowski and Casey Kane. We'll see you tomorrow night for the Duck Commander 500, but coming up next, it's Xfinity Series racing on Fox.